Why is Russia moving nuclear weapons into Belarus, and should the world be worried? Russia has started placing tactical nuclear weapons in Belarus, a country right next to several NATO members. That means these weapons are now physically closer to countries like Poland, Lithuania, and Latvia than they were before. It sounds dramatic, and it is, but the reasons behind it are more about strategy and politics than an immediate plan to launch anything. First, these are not the giant long-range nuclear missiles that can cross oceans. These are called tactical nuclear weapons. They're smaller, designed for use on the battlefield, targeting military forces or infrastructure. Still incredibly dangerous, but meant for regional use rather than global destruction. So why Belarus? Geography. Belarus borders Ukraine and sits right on NATO's eastern edge. By placing nuclear weapons there, Russia shortens the distance to potential targets in Europe. That increases pressure on NATO and sends a message. Russia can escalate if it feels pushed too far. But this move is less about actual battlefield use and more about signaling. Nuclear weapons are as much political tools as military ones. By moving them closer to Europe and making sure everyone knows about it, Moscow is trying to remind Western countries of the risks of deeper involvement in the war in Ukraine. It's a form of deterrence, basically saying, don't cross certain lines. There's also the Belarus angle. Belarus is closely tied to Russia politically and militarily. Letting Russia store nuclear weapons on its territory shows just how dependent Minsk has become on Moscow. Even though the weapons are in Belarus, Russia keeps control over them. That deepens Belarus's role as a strategic extension of Russian military power. Another reason is balancing NATO. The United States already stores nuclear weapons in several European NATO countries under what's called nuclear sharing. Russia argues this move into Belarus is a response to that, even though it raises tensions further. Psychology plays a huge role too. If this were purely about military advantage, the deployment might have been quiet. Instead, it was announced loudly. That's intentional. The fear and uncertainty created by moving nuclear weapons closer to Europe can influence public opinion, political debates, and decisions about supporting Ukraine. So does this mean nuclear war is around the corner? Not necessarily. Experts say Russia mainly wants leverage, not apocalypse. Actually using nuclear weapons would cross a line with massive global consequences, including for Russia itself. The goal is to scare, deter, and strengthen Russia's negotiating position, not to start the end of the world. Still, it's a serious escalation. Moving nuclear weapons into a new country for the first time since the fall of the Soviet Union changes the security picture in Europe.